We don't want to be martyred. We want to win. This is the sailor battle cry. World benefits all over. The entire world, every citizen benefits when this happens. This is why this is so important. This fight is for all people. The big change for me came in the last couple of years when I realized the game is not trying to find fiat financial freedom anymore or helping other people achieve that. Only 1, 5, 10% of people are ever going to care about that, think about it, think it's attainable, and actually achieve it. The wealth and inequality gap is the biggest threat to humanity, in my opinion. As history has shown, as that continually grows, there's more division, more hatred, more discontentment, more civil unrest. That is the biggest threat to humanity right now. That's it. If the world is ripping itself apart, then nothing else matters. Climate change doesn't matter. Nothing. I mean, there's nothing you can think of. I can't even think of anything because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. If the world is on fire and we are Mad Max, Walking Dead, Biff Tannen's Pleasure Paradise, and Back to the Future 2, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Is Jason Lowry a spook? Let's dive in here. There are some in the Bitcoin community who believe this to be the case. They believe that certain people are out there to work against Bitcoin. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are definitely some that are there for that reason. They're generally in altcoin land, things like that, or in different parts of the government who don't like that. And there's going to be those people. There may always be those people, quite honestly. And that's just part of life. There's always going to be people that are contrarian, doing things, going the opposite direction, going the opposite way. Heck, I've even been to that point. Their fervor, though, the toxic maximalists, the Bitcoin maximalists, as they're called, really, we call them Bitcoiners. That toxicity is a feature, not a bug. People questioning Jason Lowry, questioning, kind of pillars, I guess. The Bitcoin is saying that Bitcoin kills your heroes. And when you think, wow, this person really gets it, and I've always loved them, and now they get it, and then all of a sudden they change, and people jump on to them like flies on what, and they just dive in and they attack. It's like a wolf pack, and that's what it is. Because this is a winner take all game. Money is a winner take all game. And literally, humanity is on the line right now. Are we going to have surveillance coin CBDCs, or are we going to have freedom coin, Bitcoin? The choice is ours. Are we going to be digitally surveilled like in the Panopticon or in 1984 or Brave New World? Is that going to be our life, or are we going to actually take control of our own lives and have personal accountability and responsibility? That toxicity is a feature, not a bug. Again, toxicity is a feature, not a bug. Iron sharpens iron. We all know how things are forged in the world, and iron sharpens iron. Pressure test, stress test, extreme heat, that's what forges things. Bitcoiners like to test themselves and others while in the process, forging true believers and purging the rest. The crucible, as Alex Stanzik says, it's very important. That's something that very few movements have. Technologies, discoveries. Bitcoin has that. One of the many things it has, but it has that crucible, it has that gauntlet that you have to go through. And that's why, again, there's so many Bitcoins, and there's so many memes, monikers, sayings inside of Bitcoin, in the Bitcoin world, because it's the people that have gone through those gauntlets, have the layers of experience and knowledge. And it's not that people are geniuses at Bitcoin. They just all of a sudden wake up one day and like, wow, I know more than you. It's because many of us have gone through these trials and tribulations, had things frozen from them, taken from them, come from the political world, come from the engineering world, seeing things from a different angles and coming to this thing and saying, oh my goodness, I realize that this is the answer to the red versus blue fighting, the man versus woman, the black versus white, the ageism, the racism, all these things. Those are just distractions. Those are divisions that the media causes and that people cause to distract people from what's really going on. We've known this for hundreds of years. At least few people have known this. And yet it's very hard because the people that have the power are the ones that have that money generally in the proof of stake system, this old legacy system. And they use their media, they use their megaphones, they use a narrative to shape it in order for people to not understand what's going on. They purposely are doing these things. It's currency printing, and then it's quantitative easing, and then it's reverse repos and doing all these different things because they want to obfuscate the truth. They don't want people to understand what's going on. So again, from my perspective, Jason seems to be working on showing the government that they must accept a Bitcoin standard because the race has already been won and they need to get on board. The faster the freest country on earth it does that, presumably the better for the dollar, stability, and the rest of the world. But maybe I'm wrong. And here's Jason here with an incredible series he did with Robert Breedlove. And he's done many recently, and this is very, very important to check out and understand both sides. So again, maybe I'm wrong, maybe Jason's wrong, maybe we're right, maybe he's right, maybe the people that are coming after him are right, maybe they're wrong. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. We're going to forge each other into the purest form of what we are, and to God's highest form of creation is what we are, and bring out the best potential. And we're going to smoke out the shills as the markets do that themselves. We're going to smoke out, Bitcoin smokes out the real from the fake. The American founders pledged their lives, their fortunes, and sacred honor. It pays to be a winner, as the SEALs say. There's so many quotes and cliches on winning. It's interesting how that goes, right? We're not here to be martyred. We want to win, as Michael Saylor astutely pointed out here just in the last month or so. Bitcoiners are prepared to die in this hill, peacefully transitioning property rights and sound money back to the hands of every citizen on the planet. That right here is the mission. You want to know the mission of Bitcoin? Right here. Peacefully transitioning property rights and sound money back to the hands of every citizen on the planet. Taking that issuance of currency, of money, out of the hands of the unproductive class, out of the few, putting it back into the hands of the people. What do you believe in? How committed to it are you? As Jesus would say, picking up your cross and laying down your life. Do I have something in my life? Do I believe in something that I will forego everything else and lay down my life in order to fight for something that's bigger than myself? Do you? Do we? The American founders did. They found theirs. They pledged to each other everything in the name of freedom, in the name of decentralization, getting out from kings, rulers, monarchs, oligarchs. Freedom they knew they may never see, but it was still worth it, standing for that regardless, because it was right and true for their posterity. Again, this is something that they wrote down, knowing, signing their death warrant, signing the declaration, knowing that they were probably going to be killed. There was a good chance they were going to lose, but they were going to stand for what was right and what was true, regardless. This was the story of Bitcoin since the beginning. People not understanding it. And so many people don't understand. You get many that don't understand. They say, oh, yeah, okay, look, you were wrong. Price goes down, again, in fiat terms. So many people are thinking in fiat terms still. And they're thinking, well, you can't do smart contracts. So just a story today of someone talking about, well, I don't know. I wasn't Bitcoin. I don't really like it anymore because I'm a super coder and you can't do smart contracts yet. So I don't care. Well, you're thinking in the wrong context, right? People that don't understand Bitcoin yet are thinking in the wrong context. They're working on things that are higher up the chain that don't even matter yet. If you don't fix the money, then nothing else matters. If you don't fix the base layer problem, if you don't build your house on top of rock, then it doesn't matter what kind of wood you're using. If you're using 2x6s or 2x4s, it doesn't matter. If you're built on sand, you could have 2x10s. Your house is going to be in the ocean at some point, right? So that's the problem here. It's with these first principles that, again, we're not taught in school, we're not taught anywhere, that are really hamstringing people from understanding sound money and understanding the foundation of our society, and holding people back and holding humanity back, holding progress back, holding civilization back from the discoveries and the breakthroughs we could be having, because we're playing on top of houses built on sand. We're over here arguing about 2x6s, 2x10s, and 2x4s, and what kind of nails to use, screws or nails, when it doesn't matter. Guys, the ocean is going to swallow the house in the next couple weeks, in the next month, the next couple years. So it don't matter. It doesn't matter what you build it with. The base foundational layer is wrong. That is the difference between Bitcoin and really the rest of society, the rest of fiat society, whether it's altcoins and NFTs, or it's a legacy financial system, the central banks, the banking system that we all use. It's all built on a house of cards. It's all fake tokens. It's all FTT tokens. That's the difference. And once people understand that, which very few do right now, this problem of truly what is money, things are not going to change. We're going to continue having many of the same problems we have now, and too big to fail companies failing, and zombie companies, and bad incentives, YOLO, people just going out the risk curve and doing all these crazy things because they don't know what the true problem is. Again, this is the story since the beginning. Many smart people have this problem, right? There's many people in all walks of life. Again, people always joke, right, about people having common sense versus having academic smarts. And what would you rather have, right? Well, there's the shadowy supercoders and the computer guys in the beginning of Bitcoin 10 years ago. Laszlo buying a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin. He clearly didn't understand what the purpose of Bitcoin was, separating money from state. That is the purpose of Bitcoin. He didn't understand that. He thought it was just, fiat gain. So, oh, great, I bought it for $1, sold it for 10 bagger, great, got more fiat. Okay, that's not solving anything, right? They might solve some of your own problems potentially, but you're not solving humanity's problems. You're not solving bigger problems, as Bucky Fuller would talk about, or any of the entities, the higher beings, the higher not intelligences, but whether it's God or some other form of higher being that you follow, right? That, what are they asking us to do? Do the most for the most amount of people. That is what we're asked to do. So many people left the projects, abandoned the projects, lost their Bitcoin keys, sold them, or went into altcoins because it was too slow, right? They didn't understand the purpose. They didn't understand Satoshi's writings. They didn't understand why Bitcoin was discovered and why all these things were brought together. It was to separate money and state. And still, many don't understand this. We are still so incredibly early. Again, the biggest issue is people don't understand money. That is the problem. That is the problem. And why generally people in developing countries get Bitcoin before people in developed countries do. What is money? Again, when you have a currency that's constantly being rug pulled in Venezuela, Sri Lanka, the UK pound just went through it, devaluations, resets, Argentina getting rug pulled, and currency resets and hyperinflations, whatever, every reset every 5 years on average. They've had like 5 in the last 30 years. Zimbabwe in the last 10 years. It looks like they're going down that road again. This is why this continues to happen. And El Salvador finally said no more. Nayib Bukele said no more. We're going on a Bitcoin standard. We're not playing the IMF's game, the World Bank's game anymore. We're not doing this. Again, most have no idea the system's broken, let alone that there's a solution. So many Bitcoiners, the problem Bitcoiners have is they just think people know what they know. They've studied the hundreds of thousands of hours they have. They've gone through all the experiences that they have in their life, and they just think, well, they're going to get it. I'm just going to beat someone over the head, and they got it. Well, they don't, because most people haven't had your life experiences. Most people haven't done the studying you've done. That'd be like just taking a 15-year-old kid and saying, hey, we're going to do, Calc 4. Hey, we're going to go do, advanced quantum, computing, quantum mathematics, or whatever it is. Like, you can't do that. That's not how it works. You have to go in layers. Like Greg Foss says, people just go along with the current system because that is all they know or they've been taught. Most of it never had any real hardship in America or other Western civilized or developed countries. Then stuff hits the fan and they get what Bitcoiners are saying, finally. But it takes that. You need layers of experience or battle wounds to get something new, early on especially. You have to have that. And most people, as Russell Brunson says, most people are running to or from something. Everyone is running to or from something. They're either running towards pleasure or away from pain. However, very few people are running towards pleasure. That's usually the entrepreneurs. That's usually the 1%, 10% of people, kind of Pareto's rule, maybe 20% of people. But the vast majority of people are running away from pain. That is a vast majority of people. So generally, those people have to experience a lot of pain in order for there to be massive change. That is why we're educating. That is why we're doing what we can to spread signal amongst the noise so we can get more and more people off the sinking fiat Titanic and get them into the life raft, the sound money life raft. That is the new system. Like I've been saying, we got to take our chips from this table and put them on a different table. The system's already built. The table's already here. It's already being built. The game's already being played over here. And there's just a few people at the table. There's all these people crowding around this old legacy table with all their chips on the table, and all the legs are being cut out from under it. It's about to collapse. We have to go play on this new table. Most people, again, are getting by and aren't hurting enough to have a whole step change in their life. Right, for right now, most Western countries, life's good enough. Well, we're paying double for my food. You're like, well, that stinks. It'll only last a little bit, and then I'll be able to get back and start saving again, or whatever it is, whatever the excuses are, whatever's going on. Some people are living great, some people aren't. So most people are getting by though. They're just not hurting enough to have an entire step change in their life and admit the fiat life they have known their entire life is a lie. That's a lot of pain needed to understand it and finally get that the entire game is rigged against you. That's incredibly tough. That's going to take a lot of pain or a massive amount of education. Again, the European Central Bank, this is tough too because you have people like this. You have entities, alternative media, you have mainstream media, legacy media saying opposite things. And even the mainstream media, the legacy media saying opposite things all the time. The ECB here said, Bitcoin's on its last legs. And you have other articles, from Reuters that I saw with Larry Fink saying how, all the use cases are there. And then, crypto is great. And then, JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon saying crypto is bad. I mean, just like all articles in the same day from all different sources, all different entities in legacy media saying totally conflicting things. Bitcoin is great. Crypto is a scam. It is pet rocks. So you have to be able to separate the signal from the noise and understand the fight. If you don't understand the fight is sound money and separation of money and state, then yes, you're going to fall for monkey JPEGs and crypto altcoin scams and infinity scams and FTX exchange, leaving your coins on the exchange. Like, you're going to fall for all that. That's why once people truly see and have this pain in their life a lot of times, or enough education, then they start seeing the Bitcoin light, the sound money light, and how Bitcoin starts unifying the entire world, everyone, and gets everyone in the same boat, going the same direction, separating money from state. Again, remember, all these people running these corporate structures, these institutions, the legacy systems, people, they aren't all smart, all infinitely smarter than you. They're just not. I mean, time and time again, you see how blindly these people just go do things. They are faking it, hoping that they land the plane, especially people in the central bank land. Christine Lagarde, Jay Powell, Janet Yellen, they are hoping that you just don't recognize what's going on, that they don't know what they're doing. And again, because they've never shown they know what they're doing. They're always wrong. They're always reactionary. They're always behind the curve. I mean, show me one time that they've been right. I bet someone here, they can't put a time when they were right, central banks were in the right, in the comments. I mean, please show that to us. So why do we continue trusting them and letting them decide what's going on? Again, now on the hopeful side, we are the government, as Jeff Booth says. We are the government. And the more people we have in our camp to apply pressure, the faster freedom is adopted. Government will have to capitulate. We want to orange pill as many people as possible, so we don't have to have a Mad Max scenario or Walking Dead world or Biff Tannen's Pleasure Paradise, as we see here, when the world's on fire and we're going to get gas with a shotgun in our car. That's a massive wealth inequality gap. That's broken money, broken currencies all over the world, and you have the haves and all the have-nots. 99% have nothing, and the ruling class stole all your wealth through inflation and debasement. That's the world we could be entering. Again, that is the biggest threat in the world, in my eyes, the ballooning wealth inequality gap, by far. Again, the hope, young kids' energy will win. Younger generations will inevitably come to power as the hippie bubble bursts. Article on that coming soon as well. In video, we will vote for accommodative policies over the next 10 years. As the younger generations get into more power, they will obviously start voting away from all the legacy programs and entitlements and create their own accommodative policies. That is the destiny of demographics, as Harry Dent says, right? Things will change and you'll start voting inherently for things in your own generation. So Bitcoin will win. We have to do what we can to make sure it happens in this decade and not 100 years from now, like Corey Clifton says, which we'll talk about in a second. I don't actually foresee us running into as many of the problems that we prognosticate now. But, could the unproductive class make it harder on Bitcoiners in the short term? Yeah, they could. Could Bitcoiners be deemed domestic or financial terrorists? Yep, they could. Could societal pressures be ratcheted up on us exponentially? Yes, absolutely. I believe this is what Jason Lowery is trying to avoid. I do believe by publishing his thesis and working on this, that's what he's trying to avoid. At least from the dozens of hours I've heard him speak. Everyone has their own interpretation of Bitcoin and what it means to them. Not everyone has to have the same interpretation, and not everyone does. Everyone comes from different angles, different beliefs, different backgrounds. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. But we're all on the same mission, separating money from state and returning property rights and sound money back to the people, and the issuance of money back in the hands of the people and not the select few running the world. All mentions and thought around Bitcoin is good for Bitcoin. All news is good for Bitcoin. Being in the news. I think Donald Trump taught everyone that. Even bad news, is good news. And that's the beauty of Bitcoin too. It's robust, it's anti-fragile. So we want it, it's designed for attacks. And people need it in their conscious mind more and more. So the more it's out there, whatever people think of it, the better that is. Remember, you don't change Bitcoin. Bitcoin changes you. That's the beauty. That's, again, the foundational piece, the built on rock. So don't worry. Have hope. We will have opposition no matter what. That will happen. Probably till the end of time. Always. And there'll always be governments, bureaucrats, people, some type of person trying to garner more power. How we respond and how prepared we are to weather those FUD storms, fear, uncertainty, and doubt storms, and provide a signal amidst the chaos will be the key to winning the race so we don't have to fight the war. As Corey Clifton said, that is the key. Stay strong. Again, not financial advice, freedom advice. I appreciate you. If you got something else, please like, subscribe it. Please comment what you got out of it, and what you would like to see us do more of. and how we can better educate and inform. And if you don't like it, again, please dislike it. Please let us know what you don't like and what you can't stand, what you disagree with. And please share with someone that you think might dislike it as well. We can fight it out in the comments. So again, I appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important asset we have. It's the only finite asset we have. The only one I know of, the only other one I know is Bitcoin. The only two finite assets in the world. So that's the fair trade. Trading your time. If you're going to do it, don't trade it for infinite things like dollars, currency, digits in the computer, blades of grass, grains of sand. Trade it for something finite. A fair, equitable trade for yourself. Finite time for finite money. That's it. It's the only equitable trade I can think of. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.